Hey everybody, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. It is a very exciting day here today. So, fantasy is probably back. This guy has been active, not active, StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2, what is he doing? Oh, coaching League this year. It's been kind of hard to keep track of. But one of the greatest players of all time, it seems like he's back. It seems like he's going to be active and trying to get very, very good once again. So basically, just to summarize this for you guys, well, if you don't know who Fantasy is, I'll talk about that in a second, but the news surrounding Fantasy is he was a League of Legends coach professionally in recent years, basically since kind of his career ended. And, you know, his contract has run out, and he's looking into potentially making a big return to Brood War. He was talking to a lot of the pros. He's been streaming a little bit. He's been practicing some on Smurfs, and he has specifically said that he's interested in getting really good at 1v1 again. And that's really, really exciting. There aren't many games of him going up against good players that are on the ladder right now. So this is kind of the first one where he is against a pro level player, which is going to be Rich over here. So that is very, very exciting. Now, if you don't know who Fantasy is, maybe all that was a little bit wasted on you. But basically, he was becoming the best Terran in the world when StarCraft 1 ended for StarCraft 2, right? So we had that kind of that awkward moment where the StarCraft 1 pro scene basically fell apart. And yeah, so you know, I've talked about this a lot of times where it's like, okay, so Flash, Bisu, Jaedong, and Stork were the top 4 players in the world. And then we had 3 players coming up, Effort, Fantasy, and Zhongbi. Those guys were right behind those top 4 and started to maybe like look like they were going to start outperforming those 4. Okay. So like they were kind of the next iteration, but then the StarCraft 1 scene kind of got destroyed when StarCraft 2 came out. And we never got to see what their full potential would be. But realistically, if you look at the way that StarCraft went over years and years and years, it was just like the next generation of guys coming up. And Fantasy was the Terran that was supposed to take over. And he plays so differently from Flash, you can't get 2 top-end players more different than Fantasy and Flash. So Fantasy is a player who, well, first off, he never gives up. He leaves games as late as Mihu. Like, even if he's dead, like, he's not going to leave the game. By the way, it's a gasless expansion versus Nexus first, in case you're tired of watching that SCV. But yeah, he is someone that doesn't really leave the game. He focuses amazingly well. Like, this is one of the strengths of Fantasy, is he puts himself into it 100%. He's a practice beast, and his style is just so different. Mechanically, he's a weaker player. He's actually, in some ways, a little bit like Snow. It's not a perfect example, but a little bit like Snow, where it's like, okay, macro-wise, he's actually super weak compared to the other top Terrans. Like, you look at, like, Light or Flash, Fantasy literally can't make as many units as them. Can't do it. But his harassment is top tier. It's like better than what Sharp can do. It's better than what TY can do. And he's just very, very smart. Yeah, championship caliber Terran. So it's exciting to have him back. I hope that the preamble wasn't too much, but honestly, nothing's happened. So here we are. He's actually scouting around. It's kind of funny to see the way he's doing it. He's really checking for any potential proxies or anything. Second factory in his main base here. Over at Rich's side of the map, we have the 2-gate plus range has been started. Robo is on the way. He doesn't really have too much of a wall or anything, but doesn't need it, right? Like, they've both done very, very greedy openers here overall. And, well, I mean, these 2 builds, I would call them pretty much even. If you do, like, a Rax expand, it's, you know, it basically makes an even game state with Protoss when they go Nexus first. And you can see they're, like, within a couple workers. You can't really hope for too much better than that. Loses 1 scout trying to come up. So good block there from Rich. And it looks like he'll go directly into Reaver, which is something I talk about a lot, where I think that this is the best move if you're going to be playing Nexus first against Gasless Expansion. I think it's really good to go Reaver before Observer, in my opinion. But we'll see if that's the case. He's actually going Observatory, not support base. So he might go for Observer into Reaver. That's what it kind of looks like here. I think this was a mistake. So notice how the Observatory is done, but he's not making an Observer, and now he's making the support base. I think he just misclicked or whatever. Okay, so a couple siege tanks on the way. He's going to have 3 tanks. He has speed coming up. So it looks like we're going to have Fantasy put on some heavy pressure. He's actually getting Academy really quick. So already we're seeing some Fantasy vibes that you don't normally see with this opener. Okay, he got missile turrets, but he's like the speed of the Academy. Like Fantasy is definitely one of my favorite players of all time. Like someone that I watched religiously because stylistically I really like the way that he plays. And I've historically always been a huge fan of Fast Academy. It's not that common because it cuts 4 SCVs to make the 2 comsats. Like you go down by 4. See, he's down by 3 and it might be like 48 to 41 after that. So it's like, okay, does that pay off? Well, that's the question, right? In modern StarCraft, we don't see it as quickly. Now, he's going to be putting on some pressure. He's got 3 tanks as well as some Marines. He's got the Vultures. He's waiting for those upgrades. 3rd factory gets started with no armory. Oh, dude. Like, we had a 3 factory game the other day that I went crazy talking about it. But to see this from Fantasy is really, really interesting. Now, I'm not entirely sure what shape Fantasy is in, by the way. Haven't seen him against pros since he kind of did this little comeback. This is the first game. Rich is pro level, even though he doesn't play in ASL. So this will be kind of telling to see how he does in this game. Siege mode on the way. He's actually stayed very, very far back. This is very Fantasy, what we're actually seeing here as well. I'll talk about that in a second, though, because we have a Reaver drop coming off. He's going to have to kill that turret ASAP. Go ahead, repair. Okay, good. As soon as you get the repair, you're going to deal a lot of damage. Yeah, very well done. Because the Reaver takes 2 hits. Unless you hit repair, then it's going to take 3 hits. And then you can put a little bit more pressure. So you can see Rich taking a lot of damage on that Reaver. Now, the armory just got started. That's quite a late armory, and he's got 3 factories. A command center as well. Are you kidding me? What are we even looking at? This is not a thing. No one plays like this. All right, he actually gets some Vultures in over here. Oh, my God. So, remember what I was talking about, the worker difference? He's only down 3 now. It was like, what, he was down 7 or so? And now he's down 3. And the thing is, there's a 3rd Nexus. So, like, he was down more than 7. So, he actually trades those Vultures out and gets a fair amount of probes. He's delayed the 4th base by kind of laying mines and being annoying over there. Rich going to come out and clear some of these mines now. But Fantasy's position looks pretty darn good. He starts his +1. He's got a fair amount of siege tanks here. I love how functional his Terran play is, by the way. Just like watching, like, notice that he didn't rush to the +1 necessarily. There's not like a lot of reason to rush to +1. But he's got like a good high quality army. He's already done some harassment. He's done some good scouting. Look at this. He's got mines all over down here looking fantastic. And now he's just going to try to push out and take like his 3rd command center is done before 9 minutes and he's floating it out, which is kind of insane. Like that's very fast. Right now, the metagame is to start your 3rd command center around 9 minutes. Like I've been seeing it get closer to like 850 or so recently. And now adding these additional factories as well. But he had the 3 factories for a while there and kind of kept that production going. Now, Rich is way up in supply. He's adding some gateways right now. Where's his Citadel? Okay, he does have the Citadel and he has started Zealot Legs. Now, I've talked about this a lot, how Polypoid is basically turned into a bust map. We see busts all the time. This high ground is not as good as you think it is. It's just very thin and the command center is close to the front. Like, when Protoss tries to bust here, it's extremely hard to hold. It's once upon a time, this felt invincible. When Polypoid first came out, it was like, oh yeah, this is the map I want to play. No longer the case in TVP. But we'll see how Fantasy sets up, because he's kind of known for having really great defensive posturing. Okay, now 3 speed shuttles coming in towards that main base. Just going to dive right past the shuttles. Loses one of those shuttles and taking a lot of damage on those other ones as well, so might end up losing them, but and he actually does end up losing quite a bit. Running his SCVs out at the moment, this is actually, it seems like it's a pretty good drop, especially if he can blow up a bunch of these depots. I don't know that he's going to be able to, though, because Fantasy's getting up here so quick. So I would say that this is one area in which Fantasy was not quite ready. Like, the defense everywhere else seems pretty good, but the defense here in the main base, there wasn't like even a single spider mine. It was just a few missile turrets. So that did more than I think what it necessarily needed to, right? Like, if you see a player like Light will have 4 or 5 mines, maybe a siege tank in there. You know, Speed would probably have additional turrets and a few mines in there, right? Everyone has their own way of defending, but that probably wasn't top tier. Well, it definitely wasn't top tier defense. And you can see that he's actually well down in workers. It's not like it's not a dead position or anything like that. Like, it's still very playable, but definitely took some damage. Slowed him down, slowed his macro down a little bit, but he clears everything. 4th base is taken by Rich, sending his probes now. Looks like he's getting down here and getting ready to try to take a 5th base location. And that's all going to be in a corner. Really great mines laid all over the place here from Fantasy, though, I have to say. Really enjoying seeing the way that Fantasy is putting this game together. Still, another harassment comes in and gets a few probes in there. The supply is actually, like, I mean, 141, 133. You feel good as Terran like that. This is weird looking to me. I am a little bit worried for him that if Rich does a couple rounds and decides to go, this could be tricky to hold on. Because this doesn't, no one defends like this. He might actually be purposefully doing this. Like, as I've said, Polypoid is a very, like, bust-centric map right now. Like, a lot of Protosses just bust this base. Like, it's, but we're kind of passing the time of that. Normally, that would have been lined up with the shuttles. So, those types of ideas don't look like they're necessarily going to be used. But just looking at his setup, it's like you should be ready for the bust in case it comes. And that's just a funny-looking setup. Maybe it's good. Maybe it works. I don't really know. Now, Fantasy's starting to move out a little bit. He knows a big group of Dragoons is down here because they were clearing some of his mines. So he definitely has a little window here where he can move into a better position. Brings his barracks over. Going to start sieging up. Now, he doesn't have good anti-air here. He has a few Goliaths coming up. Would like to see him go up and put those kind of near all the siege tanks and everything. Shuttle's going to fly in, and this is kind of the problem with when you don't have that anti-air. Looks like his actual spread is really funny looking here. And Rich going to go ahead and try to drop on top of him. I don't understand even how that worked out that well. He had like 5 tanks here. Like, I guess he had these behind, but the tanks didn't even all get cleared. And then, like, this line was so far back. It was so far back, and the goons did get pushed back pretty quickly. One thing, I guess, I do have some ideas about what we're seeing here and what he's doing that's a little bit different and why it kind of is working so far. And I'll talk about that in a second. But, yeah, let's see if Rich can actually hold this base. He is taking a 5th base, and he is sending a few units down here, which is good because he sees this command center. I do like that Fantasy's just, like, setting this up so bravely. It's not going to end up working out. He's going to have to cancel that. But this army is getting damn big from Fantasy. This is a very, very cool game. Okay, so he cancels out the 4th base. That's a big moment for Rich. But realistically, Rich is going to lose this base. But he might be able to utilize that time to set up other bases. That's definitely a potential thing. Like, you can slow down kills on bases like this where Terran has to kind of push up to the high ground. A lot of mines set up over here. Kind of a interesting location as well. The siege tank's coming down. I think he wants to trap these goons. Yeah, it looks like it. So he actually didn't kill this Nexus. And instead, he's going down here. So he's laid the mine so he can't run away. So the goons actually have to run up here. And that's like, it's so time consuming. Like, he can definitely secure kills on all of these goons, but it's super time consuming to efficiently go up there and kill those. Is he going to do that? The thing is, there's like a lot of goons out of position. You could utilize this moment for an attack, and it looks like that's actually what he wants to do. Sorry, my brain is like working overtime on what I've seen this game, because it is already so different from anything we're looking at from other Terran pros. Great position here from Fantasy. He honestly hasn't even had that many Goliaths the whole game. Like, he hasn't made as many as a lot of players like to make against the heavy speed shuttle style. By the way, don't forget those 6 goons still kind of stuck over there. Picking off a couple high Templars in here. He's got so many siege tanks. Now, Rich has to actually break this. He's like, his economy is a little bit better here than Fantasy's. That's for sure. You know, he's sitting on 5 base against 3, 70 plus probes, but he's having a hard time actually getting an engage. The engages are just not looking super good from him. So Fantasy continues to move forward. Okay, a few shuttles coming up to try to clear this attack onto his 4th base location. Ooh, actually, these two did not unload. He clicked the wrong place. This is an unloadable square right there. So I think that was just a big mistake. If he had unloaded those, he would have cleared that. Okay, well, he's going to clear it anyways. Doesn't look like he'll lose that Nexus. But this Nexus definitely looks like it's going to go down. Unfortunately for Fantasy, for Rich, all these mines down here in a Vulture, it's going to be really hard for him to set up another base. GG. Holy crap. Okay. I need quiet. So I saw a lot of things here that looked really, really different from anything other players are doing. So first off, the overall way that he ended up winning this game was positional. Okay, it actually reminds me of how, like, Smuffed used to play. If anyone remembers Smuffed, he was a Canadian Protoss player that was kind of a pro for a little bit pretty early on. Kind of played StarCraft like chess. Okay? Look at the... Let's just jump back for a minute, because there's 2 different aspects. I want to talk about this opener and why this is fascinating in today's metagame, and the way that he defended, the way that he produced, because it's seriously fascinating. But overall, the way that he ended up winning this game, right? So he's running Vultures around a lot. I gotta fast forward this for a minute. No, this isn't the point. Hold on. Okay, so up goes the drop. The drop actually did really, really well. This is like a position where he's definitely behind at this point. This is like really weird looking there. But watch this, okay? So he has these Vultures running around, gets some harass. He has a few mines down here. He's got a lot of tanks. He keeps running Vultures down. Again, very weird looking down here. This is clearing. We're almost there. Okay, so these goons just cleared mines over here. Okay, so he knows where these goons are. And if you look at what his vision is on the map, okay, so yeah, you can see that he still has vision because they just killed the last mine. So, like, for these goons to come up and help against this army, they either have to utilize an observer and shoot all these mines, will take forever, or go straight up here and then over. So, like, from here, even if they go straight up on a move command and then move over, it's going to take a while. So he knows that a big chunk of the army is not in a great position. He knows that basically, if you look at the map, right? I mean, you assume he's not down here, but he's got all these mines here. So he knows that the top left quadrant is the only place that Rich is at. And he's got such good mine placement in the center that, and look at this, even this mine here, it's like he knows there's nothing over here. So, like, this is a chunk of the army. The rest of the army is probably in this area right there. So he just moves out to attack here, right? So this is a positional play. So he attacks that, and the thing is, this doesn't even work, but, like, the attack comes in, and his spread is far enough back and everything that this is working out very, very well. And the funny thing is, he doesn't even kill the Nexus. I feel like just about everyone would just force a kill on this Nexus if you're putting this much into it. So now there's goons down here, and he goes to trap the goons. So he's sieged up so they couldn't come down. Comes down to fight him. And then he's like, okay, these goons are all out of position. Let's go. And he's got a ton of supply. Here's the thing. 174 with 56 workers, right? So let's call it 184. Just to try to think of supply numbers. Because he should have about 10 more workers. So let's call it he's at 184. A 184 against a 200 Protoss army, completely fine, right? Like, you can fight that. He's not going to get stronger from here because he doesn't have a science facility yet. Like, he's just making it right now. So, like, more upgrades are very far away, and he doesn't have a fourth base. He just restarted the fourth base here. He literally won't have a stronger moment than 8 goons or whatever it is stuck over here. 174 supply, or 184 because we're counting that he has lower SCV count. He won't have a stronger attack timing than this. And he's still got Rich contained to the top left, so he can actually do kind of an entrenched push. So it definitely looks a bit different how other players play, how other Terrans play. Now, I want to look at the initial build, okay? So it was a gasless expansion, yes, but here is the really fascinating thing that I want to get into here. Okay, so there's a second gas, and there's a third factory. And remember, he got the quick armory. So he has missile turrets, right? 3 missile turrets, which is completely standard at this time. This is just your safety precaution thing. And he gets the comsat, but no armory. No armory, guys. And look at this. It did go up to 47 against 41, as you can see on that worker. In fact, it's about to be 48. So that went exactly as we anticipated. 48 to 41. And this is part of the reason why people right now do not go for super fast academy very often. Some years ago, it was more common, but right now, like, a lot is about keeping numbers close in this matchup. So, again, this part's fascinating. The thing I find more fascinating is this third factory with no armory. Okay? Now, let me explain why I think this might be a really fantastic idea. So, first off, he's incredibly flexible here. Okay? He's got his speed and mines finishing up. He has missile turrets, so he's in no danger. And he's getting comstats, so he can get some very specific intel to figure out what he wants to do with this. Now, as far as the armory goes, right? Like, we used to have it, 1 factory armory was the standard for years. And then it kind of got to this position where it was like, okay, well, actually, 2 factory openers are very popular. And right now, 2 factory openers are much more popular than anything else. 2 factory into armory. Okay, and it kind of gives you, like, potential for an attack that might look something like this. You know, but you can kind of switch it around. You can go into more upgrades and stuff. But the overall metagame right now in Terran vs. Protoss is super late science facility. You play 1-1 for a very long time. Like, you'll literally have 8 factories, maybe even 9, with 1-1 upgrades, 3 bases, taking a 4th, and then go into science facility. That is pretty common right now. A lot of pros are playing like that. I personally play like that right now. It's increasing my win rate a lot. It's very, very strong. You just kind of give yourself a ton of units. Okay? So you actually don't really need the fast armory. Like, you can get it. It's not that it's wrong. A lot of people like to get Goliaths quickly with range and stuff, but he's giving himself, this is what I've always appreciated about fantasy. He's more active than a lot of pros. Light would never do this. Light would probably get Goliath range and already have an armory spinning and get into a third base with good timing and get like a million billion units. Here, fantasy is giving himself 3 different factories, and because he's already got speed and mines, or he's just about to have mines, but he already has speed, every unit he makes out of these will be valuable. So he actually gets a lot more vultures out at an earlier time than most players. Do you remember he had all the mines down here? He had the mines in these positions that allowed him to do moves such as attack this base freely. This seems very smart to me. This seems very smart. He also has 2 add-ons extremely fast. It is a gasless expansion, so it's not that that's weird. So he can do things like make a couple rounds of vultures and then go into siege tanks and have a huge siege tank count. Like if you look at a factory expansion, for instance, you don't get your second add-on for a little bit, right? Like it might be a little bit before you get it. You might stay on one add-on for a while, and even when you get the second one, maybe you make a Goliath out of it before a siege tank, something like that. So he actually had like overall a very good siege tank count, even though his factories got added a little bit later. A lot of this game came down to vulture movement, mines being laid in good positions to allow him to have the intel he needed to make the right moves. I'm fascinated, and I will be keeping a close eye on any games that I can cast of fantasy that would be worthwhile. Wow. Hope that you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think. If you're half as excited about fantasy being active again as me, then your life just got better today. Thank you for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.